did a video. That's fine. That we're rolling. Good evening, everybody. Hi. Just going to do a little bit of an introduction and say hi and explain what the Death Cafe is. This is Death Cafe's second Millerton Cafe, and this is the first time at the Irving Coffee House. So we want to say thank you so much to everyone for hosting it that was involved in it. So welcome. Now, how many of you got on the website of the Death Cafe and know a little bit about what it is and where it came from? Okay, great. So I'm going to explain how it started to those who don't know. It started in Switzerland, actually, by a sociologist named Bernard Crittaz. And he had this idea. He said, we don't talk about death, which is very true, especially in our country. But he said, we really don't talk about it universally enough at all. And he said, why don't we do this? He said, I'm going to have a group called the Cafe Mortals, which is Death Cafe, and I'm going to hold it in a cafe and serve delicious cake and have coffee and tea, because who doesn't like that? Well, it was a great concept. And he had it in Switzerland, and then it moved to Paris. But he was quite elderly, and he wasn't able to continue it. But there was a gentleman named John Underwood. And in 2010, he read about this concept in a magazine called The Independent. And he's working in end of life. He's 40 years old, but he does a lot of end of life. And he said, this is such a great idea, model, that I want to take it and really promote it. So he started it in London, and I think he only had 6 people at the first one, which was held in his house. But then it took off a bit, and what they did was he made a model. And the model, it's very, very simple. On your table, you have a piece of paper that says Death Cafe. And here's really what summarizes what a Death Cafe is. It's to increase the awareness of death with a view to helping people make the most out of their life. Something magical happens when we talk about end of life as being a natural part of our life's journey. We then say, wait a minute, okay, that day will come, because if we don't talk about it, some people think it's not going to happen, or it's optional. But it is going to, in our country, it is a little optional at times. But what happens is you think about it, and then you really think about the quality of your life, and you think about what matters most to you. Because for me, the most valuable commodity we have, aside from this wonderful body that we should treat really well, is the value of our time. Because we're not guaranteed. We don't know how much time each of us has. We hope that we have it, but there's no guarantee. So how are you spending your days? And is there something that you want to accomplish on your list that is really important to you that you haven't gotten to? So it kind of brings back focusing on life and the quality of what that means to you. Now here's the other thing. There are a couple of rules to holding your own Death Cafe. It has to be for no money. It has to be held in a space. It's not for profit. That's one thing. The second thing is that everyone's view is respected by one another. This is not a group where I'm going to try and convince you of a certain way is right. Not at all. It is a place where we can talk about end of life as a philosophy and respect each other's views and maybe learn from one another. In fact, not maybe. This is a great learning place by sharing experiences or thoughts. So that those two things are really important. And you have to eat delicious cake and drink tea. So those are the things. So it's quite simple. It's really holding a safe space. So then we have a quick itinerary. We have the meet and greet, which I'm doing now. And the second thing is the topic for tonight. At every meeting we have a new topic. And that topic is to get you to think, to start the conversation. And we start in the small groups of tables, and we let everyone talk and until they're satisfied, and then we open up to the room. And if you want to share, we kind of go around, you can. If you don't have to at all. There's nobody that is forcing you to do that. What does happen, though, is somebody over here might share something that's inspiring or provoke something that somebody over here might want to comment on, and there's a great sense of community that really happens. So before I read the question, I want to introduce, we have 2 other facilitators. We have Lynn at Door, and we have Joy, and she's doing the movie camera. So I want to thank them. And again, I want to thank the Irving Coffee House for having us. So it's great. Okay, you ready for the question?